Will the virtuous Sangha, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tăng thịnh, vì thứ pháp bội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, tình chiến diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát từ ly khổ đạt lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Nam mô San Tô Su Chế Đô Ye Ở La Hở Đi San Miao San Bồ Tô Xế. Nam mô Đại Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đà Ya A La Ha Đế Tam Miao Tam Bồ Đà Tọa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom and thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng she wei miao fa, bái chiêu quan chế nan zao yu, wo jin jiu de shou chi, yuan jie ru lai zhen shi yi. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Qingliang, Venerable YongHua, and all good knowing advisors, Emitofuo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Hòa Thượng Thanh Lương, thưa Hòa Thượng Tiến Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức, A Di Đà Phật. Chư Phật菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Okay, we're here again to continue discussing the preface to the Avatamsaka Sutra. We're currently on slide number 158. Item number 7, sudden transcendence benefit, accomplishment. Text, dawn of understanding at the Chaitya in the east, fulfillment of wisdom does not differ from first thought, sojourning in positions while seeking in the south, perfected causes do not exceed a hair pore.
Qi明东妙，志满不易于初心，既未难求，因缘不遇于毛孔。
159 commentary. Dawn understanding at the Chaitya in the east. Fulfillment of wisdom does not differ from first thought. This dawn of understanding of the Chaitya in the east, in the particular anecdote, young Suddhadana, or young good wealth, who is a pure youth, he started cultivating when he was a pure boy. He decided to seek good known advisors. You see that exemplifies the spirit of Mahayana. If you want to learn Mahayana, you seek a good knowing advisor. You seek good knowing advisors. You don't try to read it yourself. You don't try to figure it out yourself because you can't. Okay? So this Sudana, good wealth, Bodhisattva, he went to a temple outside the Sea of Blessings, and he certified the fruits and unfold his inherent wisdom. When that unfolding wisdom, when they refer in text as fulfillment wisdom, meaning that your wisdom is realized in this lifetime, you're able to exercise that wisdom. You're able to draw on that wisdom. That's why it's being fulfilled or being unfolded. Okay, this fulfilled wisdom, meaning that the wisdom that good wealth, young good wealth, okay, that he realized, he's attained, does not differ from the first thought. Okay, what is this first thought? This first thought refers to the fact that when he brought forth the Bodhi mind, when he decided that he made a vow, that he would become a Buddha, he would practice the Bodhisattva path in order to become a Buddha. Okay, that's the quickest way to become a Buddha. Okay, and so young good wealth, okay, he made a vow. He says, I want to become a Buddha, which is for a young kid an incredible thing. At a very young age, he already have the blessings to decide that this is the most important thing that he can accomplish, the most worthwhile thing he can do in his lifetime. That is to seek Bodhi, to become a Buddha, to become enlightened. So that's why he's extraordinary, okay, as a kid, okay, and it's a Bodhisattva who came to our world to remind us, okay. Eventually, when you have enough wisdom, you naturally will seek Bodhi. And when you do seek Bodhi, in that very moment you said, I want to become a Buddha. I want to become enlightened. Okay? That wisdom, the thought of wisdom that generated that. Okay? It doesn't come from your thinking mind. You realize you think that it actually came from your thinking mind. No, actually it came from your Buddha nature. Okay, and that goes through your ordinary mind. He says, "This is the most important thing I want to accomplish. This is the highest achievement, highest fulfillment in my life." Okay, and that very thought that says, I want to become a Buddha, that thought of wisdom right there, that comes from wisdom. Okay? At that very moment, okay, that thought, that enlightened thought, is the same one that you have when you become enlightened. That's what they mean. It is meant by that phrase. Fulfillment wisdom does not differ from a first thought. Meaning that very thought, I say, I want Bodhi. The very thought there is the same thought that you have when you become enlightened. Let me explain it to you very clearly. The Chinese is too literary, too abstract. The way they say it is is very polished, very beautiful, poetic. But for us in the West, we don't know what it means. That very, very thought, again, I repeat, the thought for you, any of us, including Sudana, he says, I want to become a Buddha. Each and every one of you, including maybe the children. I don't know. I haven't tried the children yet. Okay? But the very thought for us, wise people, very thought says, very seriously, it's not done in jest. There's some people out there, for example, the non-Buddhist says, I want to become enlightened. It seems like a cool thing to do. That enlightenment right there that they're thinking of is not the same enlightenment as we Buddhists know. Enlightenment that we Buddhists talk about is the wisdom, a state of wisdom, a state of awakening of the Buddhas. Okay? It's not a casual thing for us at all. So when we say we want to become enlightened, when Sudana thought of enlightenment, he thought of Bodhi, he says, I want to reach Bodhi, accomplish Bodhi. That thought there, a wisdom that says, I want to become a Buddha, is the same kind of mindset, comes from the same mindset as the thought when you become a Buddha. Therefore, I'm going to go out on a limb and tell you, it's not written anywhere in a Chinese text, that very thought there, that you, when you are serious, when you are sincere, and say, I want Bodhi, I want to accomplish Bodhi, that comes from the same mind as when you become enlightened. Agree or disagree? Where else can it come from? The same mind that makes you rich and famous? Think again. Is that clear? If it's the same one, it's the same thought, therefore it's your Buddha nature that you have right now. It's a proof right there. This is so profound of a statement from this great man, Qing Liang, Master Qing Liang, who says, you know, this is so wonderful. I don't know why the Chinese don't put that kind of emphasis in the Buddhist teaching. In this very text here, preface to this wonderful sutra, this great monk says, do you know that the mind that you right now, all of you, any of you who aspires for Bodhi, he says, no, you're too short. No, that doesn't work. Children and short people are exempt, okay? But for normal people who are sincere or serious, it says, I want to become a Buddha. That comes from a Buddha mind. Isn't that cool? Yes, the confused you. Yes, the bipolar you. Okay, yes, it's that Buddha mind you already have. Isn't it fantastic? The disciple of Master YongHua doesn't believe me. He says, really? I have that mind? Yeah, you disciples of Master YongHua, you too have that mind as well. Now she says, yeah, then I want to belong. You paupers. Okay? We know all the secrets that they, Chinese people, don't explain it to their own. Okay, next, 160. Sojourning is sojourning or sojourning, I think both. Either way works. Sojourning in positions while seeking in the south. Perfected causes do not exceed a hairport. Sojourning in position while seeking in the south, meaning that he had to travel. It's a journey. Physically, I mean literally, physically, as well as spiritually. You have to do physical things. You have, if you want to seek wisdom, you want to seek accomplishment, you have to sojourn. Sojourn. Okay? You have to travel. You have to work for it. You cannot sit there and expect it to come to you. You have to earn it. You have to make the effort. There's some white disciples of mine who are not here, who feel entitled, have a sense of entitlement, and says, I deserve it. Yeah, in your mind, but if you want to get it, really get it, you have to work for it. You have to sojourn, okay? You have to travel. You have to seek for it. Traveling here, okay, has its context, okay? 求, see? In Chinese, it's 求. There's seeking, okay? You have to seek. When you seek, you have to make the effort. You have to go as far as it takes, wherever you need to go. That's a concept, okay? When you seek something worthwhile, okay, like positions, okay, like accomplishment, you have to work for it, okay? So what happened is good wealth. He was told by Manjushri Bodhisattva, his first teacher, his first good no advisor. Think about it. The very first good no advisor that good wealth had was Manjushri, who is the Buddha. So what does the Buddha say? Go seek another good no advisor. That's what Buddhists teach their favorite disciples, I think. I'm no Buddha, but between us, I think they favor good wealth. Okay, so he says, I'll give you a tip. Manjushri says, you should seek a good no advisor. Okay, so that's what good wealth did. He went out of the cities and went south. He traveled south. Well, I'm not sure why south. Okay, maybe in that world, south means something. Maybe someone will tell us in the future. I have no idea why south, but the direction he had to go is one direction. He went south. Okay, to seek for good no advisors. Perfected causes do not exceed a hair pore. All these grounds, the sagely grounds number 1, number 2 to number 10 are the prizes in Buddhism. Okay, you're looking for a prize, those are the prizes. Not for Stage Arhat, not Pratyeka Buddha. It's the grounds, okay? And these 10 grounds are the what you want to shoot for, and these are called perfected causes, meaning that you get there by planting the right causes, by seeking them, and sojourning in positions. Okay? So you seek for the accomplishment. Okay? He said, ground number 1, that's where I want to go. And so forth. I want to go higher and higher and higher. You have to desire them. Okay? And when you certify to these positions, good wealth went to the first good no advisor, and then he was taught how to get there, and he practiced with that good no advisor. He didn't go to the mountain. He didn't go down to the valley, up to the mountain to practice by himself. He stands there and practices with good no advisor. This is so top secret in Mahayana. And yet it's right there, hidden in plain sight. Okay? When I first started, I thought I'd come to the DRBA, to my master, and learn with his disciples, and run away and find my own spot and meditate and learn until I become enlightened, or until I get what I wanted, some cool skills that I could impress the girls, or find a way to make more money than Tua. Okay? And it is so Hinayana. You're seeking for yourself. And you think you can figure it out. Anyone? Okay? And good wealth. He stayed with the good no advisor. And the good no advisor says in chapter 39, it's one of the beautiful chapters in this sutra, Avatamsaka Sutra. Okay? And he stays with the good no advisor until the good no advisor says, "You made it, my boy, move on. I cannot teach you anymore. You deserve better than I do." That's the mark of an authentic good no advisor. Not the one who says, "Stay with me. Don't leave. Okay? I want my assembly to be bigger, not have fewer people." Okay? And by all means, bring more people to me. No, it's not about the good no advisor. It's about you. When you come to an authentic good no advisor, he's thinking of you, of your future, of your benefits, not of his benefits. That's one of the characteristics of an authentic good no advisor. He has your interest at heart, not his. Okay? I'm working at it. Don't look at me like that. You people are so demanding. Okay? I'm working on it, and as soon as I get a real big temple, much bigger temple than this, then I will promise you I will begin to think about your benefits, not mine anymore. Okay? So give me time. Okay? So this is fantastic. This is a simple story. People don't pay attention to this. So he went from good no advisor. He says, please teach me, until the good no advisor says, "Okay, I think you're sincere. You for real, I will teach you. But I'm warning you, it's not that easy. It's a lot of hard work." And sure enough, Goodwill says, "I'm not scared. I can do it." And he stayed there and passed so many tests. Didn't run away. You think he stayed with a good no advisor? Staying with a good no advisor is an easy thing to do? You've thrown tests after tests after tests. Okay? It's not supposed to be pleasant. You want to be pleasant? Get divorced. Get married. Which is what I'm not sure anymore. Okay, I was divorced because it's more pleasant. Excuse me. But I'm not prejudiced. So he went. So the good no advisor. This is. Let me spell it out for you. Good no advisor says, "Go." You don't decide to go. I remember. It's so funny. I remember when I first started. I tried to pretend to be humble. So I was telling my students, my disciples, is that, I'm only doing this because I'm waiting for the second patriarch to appear, and then I will give up everything and go learn from him, okay? Because my original master, didn't want to teach me, okay? Abandoned me, as a matter of fact. And then I said, because we're so far away from a city of 10,000 Buddhas from the DRBA, that's what the true Dharma is, okay? And so one of my disciples, okay, heard that, and because I kept on saying that, he believed it. I couldn't tell them that I lie for a living as well. So one day he got disenchanted. He says, "Oh, this monk is so unfilial. The way he treats his mother is horrible. The way that he criticizes me in public is low class. Such low class of a monk. I'm going where the real Dharma is." So he's absconded over to the RBA. By the time he left, he was 7th samadhi. So he had enough wisdom, of course, the disciple himself. Mm-hmm. From low level to 7th samadhi, he passed through a lot of tests. But in taking the tests, let me warn you, he built up his resentment. He says, "Okay, I put up with you, but you pay. Okay? I'm going to make you pay. How dare you slight me in public?" So when the time came and he had confirmation from my master's disciples, I'm not a worthy teacher, I'm totally unfilial, and not meeting the standards of filiality of Master YongHua, as they put it. He says, "I'm going to go where the real Dharma is." Okay, so went over to my master's temples. After telling my followers that I was an unworthy teacher and they should follow him as well, go to where the real Dharma is, the proper Dharma. He went over there, immediately bought a medicine master plaque to protect himself against me. The guy is, you have to give him credit for it. He's smart. So what could I do? I knew I couldn't breach the defenses. Okay, so I did nothing. I wish I should have done it earlier. But anyway, went over there, and pretty soon, lo and behold, he started slipping and sliding away. So, anyway, my point here is that I failed the test and left prematurely. If you really believe in your good no advisor, if you put your faith in a good authentic, good knowing advisor, is he going to keep you around and make you waste your time? And that's why good wealth here, he would not leave until each and every single good advisor in those various positions that he's certified to had to kick him out. I would like to think, and again, a little bit of advertising so that I get my big temple. Okay? I would like to think that Master YongHua kicked me out for my own good. Okay? You see, a good advisor will tell you when to leave. Don't have to worry about it. That's Mahayana secret. Don't be so impatient. If you find a fake good advisor, he'll keep you. He wants to keep you. A real good knowing advisor would not try to keep you at all. Okay? And so good wealth here reach those positions, those sage positions, ground number 1 through ground number 10. Okay? That's what good wealth experienced through his journey to the south. Okay? Those are because he planted the causes in the past. Okay? So that these causes that he says, I want to become enlightened, and then so it will propel him, these causes were perfected, matured, if you will. These seeds of wisdom matured. That's how he's certified to these sagely positions. However, truth be told, these perfected causes do not exceed a hair pour. Okay? Meaning that, what does it mean? These perfected causes do not exceed a hair pour. This is gigantic results. If you think that winning the super lotto is such a big deal, who thinks the super lotto is a big deal? I'm the only one. The rest of you are sleepy. Okay? Yeah. Including the kitchen manager, who's the reason for you falling asleep. Okay? Okay. You think that winning a super lotto is a big deal, okay? Then it's because you're poor. All right? These people who are certified to these positions, sage positions, you ask them, okay? Wow, you certified to, it's funny, I told some of my disciples, I said, you certified to, I can't tell you, one of those positions. To who? I can't tell you either. That's why it's a very lonely world. Only we know, and no one else knows. No one else cares anyway. And see, we can't tell people. It's absolutely worthless. You can't make money. You can't brag about it. I can't brag about it. Okay? And that's why they're worth that much. Teeny, tiny thing. What's that line in the movie? Never mind, I forgot. I'm too full. So your fault. When you reach these positions, these people, I told him, you certified to that. He said, okay. I said, can you get excited a little bit? I said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be excited about that? That's exactly what this is referring to. What's annoying is that they could have at least jumped up and down a little bit. But no, they said, oh, okay, thank you. The thank you comes about a few days later. First they said, I don't believe you. Really? What are you getting? Are you trying to get my money? Yes, question. There's a question somewhere. Yes, Black.
Can check out that phrase right there, like the saying that says, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. We can kind of compare that phrase with that saying.
I miss just like whatever. Chuck wood, pair one, what's that?
Chop wood, carry water. It's a saying.
Chop wood, carry water? Oh no, they don't do that. After we become enlightened, we hire people to chop wood and carry water. I like to think. But however, if you refuse to chop wood and carry water, you won't become enlightened. How's that? Guaranteed. But after you become enlightened, we make money and hire people. Okay? So do not exceed a hair pour. A hair pour is a tiny, tiny thing. So for them, it's funny because these people, the first round is, really, really? They do get excited a little bit. And then it didn't last long. But after that, they say, okay, here you go. Here you go again. You're lying to me again. More or less attitude. Ingrates. Okay. So, meaning the hair pour here, what's a big deal? There's no big deal. It's only big to you, paupers, not to these people. Okay? And now, speaking of sense of entitlement, now we're talking about entitlement, as if they're entitled to it. Okay, next. (161). Opening fine dust motes sutra scrolls, then in every thought the fruit is one. Exhausting sentient beings vow, doors, then in every dust mote practice is fulfilled.
颇为诚之经卷，则念念果成；尽众生之愿门，则诚诚行满。
A bit louder next time. 162, commentary. Opening fine dust motes sutra scrolls, then in every thought the fruit is one. Okay. Okay, these sutra scrolls are how the Buddha's teachings were recorded back then. They didn't have bindings, so they have to use scrolls of skin, scrolls of bamboos, and so forth. And later, the papers and so forth, to store these sutras, to record these sutras. Okay? And so that's what we Buddhists do. The Buddhists like to look at scrolls of sutras, meaning that we like to listen or to look at the Buddha's teachings. If you want to read anything, you want to listen to anything, okay, the sutras are probably the best things that will plant the greatest seeds in your consciousness that will never die. Yes, Buddhist teachings are permanently implanted in your eighth consciousness forever. Okay? So not only that, but when you open the sutra scrolls, okay, it has an incredible effect on you. Okay, and you and in every thought the fruit is one. So every single thought, as you read the sutras, okay, the fruits are planted, okay, and realized. Every single sutra that the Buddha taught is in order for you to certify to the fruits he wants you to certify to. That's what happened when Shakyamuni Buddha first taught the human world, never mind about the bodhisattvas of this sutra. Let's talk about human realms so that it's easier for you to comprehend. Okay? When he first taught the sutras, when he first taught the humans, he decided to teach the 5 prior attendants who used to attend to him as a crown prince. Excuse me. As he first left the home life and practiced on his own in the Himalayas. Okay. I finally, the last royal attendant, left him in disgust, disappointed that he failed in his ascetic practices. So they went to the deer park, and all 5 of them were practicing there. And when the Buddha became a Buddha, and he says, who's ready to be my enlightened disciples? This is why we teach Buddhology. It's for you to certify to these fruitions. We don't teach you these things to make you successful, find love and happiness. I'm sorry. You've been doing that? Goodbye. Okay. It's for you to certify to the fruitions. And for those of you, like Billy, who's looking for love and happiness, as you certify to these fruitions, actually you'll be happier. And you find truer love. Questions or comments? And good thing that you internet people are not seeing it, but my disciples are, no, I ain't seen nothing yet. Okay? Yeah. So the Buddha went to the deer park and he spoke to the externalists, meaning those who don't believe in Buddhism, who, no matter what I say, refuse to convert. Okay? So he found, of course, I cannot compare myself to the Buddha. But you cannot compare yourself to 5 attendants either. Okay, so you went to the deer park and you talked to these 5 previous attendants, and one of them is Ashnata Kondinya. You remember? The first to be enlightened. Anyone remember that anecdote? No one? Yes. Dr. Yin.
Master, what is the 8th consciousness?
8th consciousness. In the consciousness only school, they teach we have 8th consciousness. We confused people have 8 consciousnesses. Okay? Well, the non-Buddhists have fewer. Just in case you're wondering. But the 8th one, okay, the highest one in particular, is the one that stores every single seed you have. So every karma you create, each lifetime, okay, is stored there. It's like a disk drive, you will, a hard drive, you will. An infinite hard drive, more like a cloud. Okay, a cloud drive up there, which is infinite, supposedly. Okay, and so every single lifetime, you create all these karmas. Okay, then every time you create a karma, there's a seed that's stored in the 8th consciousness. For example, okay, you. Let's do something negative. You steal $1. Okay? That act of karma right there, that karma right there, is stored in there. He stole $1. By the way, because the seeds right there is stored in your 8th consciousness. Okay? When you die, you go down, see King Yama, and King Yama says, I see, you stole $1 from the donation box. Yeah, everything is recorded. Everything. All right? So it's stored there. Okay. So that's why those are the seeds that will eventually bring about the retribution for them. Okay. So the good seeds will bring the good results. The bad seeds will bring you unhappiness and suffering. Jewel Mountain has a question.
Jewel Mountain asks, if you die after becoming an Arhat, will you be born as an Arhat?
I don't know. I haven't died yet. This is from Korea, right? Okay, no, they're not mean people. Okay, it's from a different country. It might, might be different. Okay. When you reach a 4th stage Arhat, Jewel Mountain still has a question?
Yes, it's another question.
Okay.
From Joomi. Joomi asks, what level do you need to achieve so that you won't suffer again next time? I have so much hatred toward people. What do I need to do in order to eradicate this hatred?
And this person wants to become a counselor as a career. She's studying to be a counselor and she hates people. Can I suggest You join the armed forces instead. Be a general. You'll be happier. Move to, never mind, north. My disciple, I told him to move east. You should move north. I'm kidding. Okay. I have good news and bad news. Bad news is that we just said it. The good news, bad news is that you're going to be a horrible counselor. The good news is that you can be a good counselor. So how do you stop suffering? Okay, very simple. The answer is right in the question. He says he hates people. How do I stop? How do I stop this suffering? Simple. Stop hating people. What's so funny? It's that simple. Stop hating. Then suffering stops. Orange.
Mô Phật và Thầy, cái người mà A-la-hán đó, trước khi sau khi đã chết có đi xuống địa ngục không?
Master, the Arhat, after they die, will they fall into the hell?
Again, I don't know. Okay. In theory, when you reach fourth stage Arhat, all sufferings end. No more suffering. But I look at my fourth stage Arhat disciples, it seems like the suffering increased. You ask them, I say, are you happier? I say, no, you are meaner to me than before. Before, I didn't know how mean you really are. Now I see your true nature. I all I have to say for myself is that the tests get harder. You loser. Yes, the abbot of Guo
Di Đà
Forest.
Phật. Theo con nghĩ á, cái này trong kinh có nói đắc A La Hán rồi vẫn phải trả quả, nhưng mà bây giờ không còn cái ngã nữa cho nên là không có đau khổ. Đức Phật đắc Phật rồi mà vẫn bị ăn lúa ngựa 3 tháng là tại vì Phật nói đời trước ta chửi người Bà La Môn, nói xấu người La Môn. Giờ thành Phật rồi mà cái ông đó ông mời về cúng dường mà ông quên. Cả tăng đoàn Đức Phật phải ăn lúa ngựa 3 tháng. Rồi Ngài Mục Kiền Liên á, đời trước á là nghe lời vợ mà dẫn cha mẹ, rồi giả bộ là ăn cướp, giả tiếng nói ăn cướp, đánh đập hai ông bà. Nhưng mà người mẹ đó nói con ơi, con chạy đi ăn cướp đang đánh mẹ nè. Ngài Mục Kiền Liên mới tội nghiệp muốn quay trở lại thì ổng bả chết. Thì quả báo đó sau này mà thời Đức Phật Ngài Mục Kiền Liên đắc A La Hán rồi vẫn bị ăn cướp đập chết. Mà cái người A La Hán nào không có đau khổ như mình. Tại vì cái bản ngã họ diệt rồi cho nên họ phải trả thôi. Đức Phật mà xô một người cháu chết mà sau này bị là Đại Bạt Đa làm ở chân chảy máu, đá văng chảy máu, thì vẫn phải trả quả, nhưng mà họ không có đau khổ như cái người thường mình.
Can I make a small request for you, students of the way? Ask me definitions, don't ask me about things that are not in the sutras. Things that I can look up in dictionary. It's not fair. Okay, I leave the answer to the abbot of Ru Mountain in Korea. Do your abbot thing. Okay, you're forcing me. I'm not sure you want to hear this. Are you sure you want me to give you an answer? Because once you hear the answer, you'll be so disappointed. You say, I'm switching Catholicism. Okay? I'm warning you. Are you sure you want to hear my answer? It's a no, right? Yes. We don't know. There's so many questions. Especially the hard ones. I listen. Yeah, okay, next. Why is that? Never mind about this future therapist, which case is impossible, okay? I look at therapists and say, how can you ever be happy? Come on. You've seen so much suffering in your career, and it will never end, okay? Because as long as there's suffering, you still have a job. So what are you complaining about? You're supposed to suffer, like everyone else. But I'm going to tell you something that we don't want the Catholics to know. Okay? Please, don't tell them. Okay? Just between us, Buddhists, okay? Okay? Anyone who's not Buddhist, please tune out. Okay? Now, in Buddhism, we know that 4 Stage Arhat in all the sutras says have ended their suffering. Yes or no? Don't nod yet. You don't know what I'm talking about, you Catholic. Huh? Right? All the books. Hey, Koreans. Right? The Arhats have put an end to suffering. Yes? Right? And how come? There's so many Korean, there are at least a couple Korean Arhats that I know of. They're still suffering. It's not just the Koreans. You see, disciples, beloved disciples, you special and beloved disciples of mine, you're not the only one who are suffering. The Korean arts are suffering too. So stop blaming me. Blame the Buddha. I have nothing to do with it. Blame your mother. Blame your father. Okay? Okay, it feels better. I do feel better now. All this, all these years, you told me I'm 4th Stage Arhat. How come I'm suffering more than before? So what happened? Put your hand down, Catholic. Yes, Buddhist. Give him a microphone. Orange.
In my opinion, I believe the suffering doesn't stop, but you're just not affected anymore by the suffering.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, give the Catholic a chance. green, blue, whatever, blue, green.
Could it be because they able to drop it more efficiently than for example, let's say that for stage asha or 3-stage whatever, they think about, or they see suffering or they feel suffering, but they could drop it easier than if you're not trained?
That's your Catholic teaching?
No.
So where does it come from? Just for my information. Louder.
I don't know.
Almost. Yes, orange.
Mô Phật, bạch thầy, con có nghe một khúc chuyện á, cái người mà đạt được A-la-hán, người đó sanh lên khỏi trời, thầy lên trển phải cũng tu nữa, những Bồ Tát rồi xuống để dạy, để tu, để thành Phật, mà tu năm này qua năm kia hoài mà nó không. Thầy, cái người A-la-hán đó, nó ước mơ nó lên với trên trời phải tu mau mau cho thành Phật, mà cứ ước mơ hoài mà tu không thành Phật đó. Mấy ông Bồ Tát gạt tôi hoài, gạt năm này tới năm kia, thôi bây giờ tôi chở xuống Trần gian tôi tu 3 năm á, là tôi thành Phật rồi. Cái ông bỏ ông đi biết làm sao không? Cung phi mỹ nữ đó biết bao nhiêu theo ông xuống dưới này để phá ông rồi đó, tu không thành Phật, thầy thành xuống địa ngục luôn thầy. Không biết có cốt chuyện gì.
Don't translate this story. She's not helping. I told you she's from the other side. Go ahead, translate. In the spirit of fairness.
Master, I heard a story. I'm not really sure if it's true or not. That there was an Arhat that after he died, he was born into the heaven because there was a lot of bodhisattva that came down and teach and then spent so many years to teach. But then he didn't learn much. So in the end, he said, "Okay, I will go into the heaven, and then when I be up there, I can become the Buddha faster." But sorry, I forgot the story.
And then a lot of heavenly maids,
And
girls.
then she said that
girl
like he
demons.
was born into. Later on, he went down to the Saha world, and because he still wants to become the Buddha faster, but then all of his wife and concubines from the heaven follow him down to the earth, and in the end, he was born into the hell.
Okay. Orange.
Mấy người tu mà sắp đắc đạo đó, mấy người kêu bằng cung phi mỹ nữ nó cứ theo tò cái bên ngoài nữa để nó phá, để nó lôi kéo chứ không có cho thành Phật được.
She said those who attend the way, they will have a lot of wife and concubine and girls that follow them and interfere with their cultivation.
I don't know what she's talking about. Okay. Why is that? The Buddha teaches that when you reach 4th stage Arhat, you put an end to all the suffering. And that whereas we, some of my disciples who certify the 4th stage Arhats, actually all of them, still suffer like hell. Okay, let me explain to you. Why do you suffer? Yes. Pink.
Because we're stupid.
You're not helping. Next. Q&A, yes.
Because of the karmic retributions.
Karmic retribution. Okay, that sounds better. Anyone else? Oh no. Give him a microphone. Yeah, blue.
Maybe because we're human and we continue to suffer, and even though we're human. But I'm saying it's just like, I think that meditation or prayer, it helps a lot.
You're suffering because you want to go to the heavens. He nodded. Finally. Yes. Blue.
Master, because of the universal suffering, always thinking.
Always thinking. You think I was kidding? You want to go to heaven? Suffering. You do thinking? That's suffering. Yes? So what is my point? You're suffering because you feel you're suffering. Yes? If you don't feel you're suffering, do you suffer? Of course not. If you don't feel the suffering, how can you suffer? You get my point? This is why you can read all the Buddhist scriptures and say, fourth stage Arhat have ended suffering and so forth, and so forth and so forth. But they don't know what it really means. Because the proof is that they still suffer. The fourth stage Arhats still suffer. And I think Korean fourth stage Arhats suffer more than Vietnamese fourth stage Arhats for some reason. Yes, Jewel Mountain has a question, has an answer.
Jewel Mountain says it's because there's a thought of self.
That's right. The thought says, I'm suffering. Yes, sir. San Diego people who will go into the red tier next week, I'm hurt.
I thought earlier, Master, you said that third stage Arhat can stop feeling skandhas or feeling thoughts. So what's the problem with fourth stage Arhat?
Good question. God, you guys shouldn't ask these types of questions. It's not in the books. It's not fair. I'm moving to Korea. The Korean ask easier questions. And there's no Catholics there. You're too much. Okay. Third stage Arhats have no feelings, but they still suffer. Meaning they can stop the feeling of suffering, that feeling itself, but they suffer in other stuff. Is it clear? That's why the Buddha says, you haven't ended suffering until you get to fourth stage. And that's why my answer is consistent with the Buddhist teaching. Third stage Arhats still have feelings of suffering, okay? Sometimes the feeling is suffering, but they can stop certain kinds of feelings. So far, so good? Only certain types of feelings, not all feelings. So that's why I told you, when I told you reach third stage Arhat, okay, you can stop the feeling of suffering yourself. instantaneously. You don't believe me? Go to your dentist. And then tell the dentist, hey, one Texunine, is he here? He's working to pull your good tooth out without any numbing thing. Novocaine. Okay? If you really are third stage Arhat, you will not feel any pain at all. Or higher. Your fourth stage Arhat, of course not. You won't feel anything. So far, so good? I'm giving you an example as a proof for you. Those you who are naysayers, as Master has been pulling my legs, I'm moving to the RBA. Okay? Yeah. Where the true Dharma is. Okay? You can stop the feeling of suffering of your body. But there's some feeling of suffering and you cannot stop as a third stage Arhat. Whereas a fourth stage Arhat can put a stop to all feelings of suffering. Is that clear? So far, so good? They can choose to put an end to all sufferings. Same thing with the future therapist. She says, I hate people so much. If she wants to stop suffering because that bothers her, she can say, I will put an end to the thought of hating people. Then the suffering ends. Make sense? I'm very logical. Yes? So that's something, unfortunately, they cannot train you or teach you at her shrink school. Okay? No such coursework. In Buddhism, we have the methodology to train you to stop the suffering. And that training will come to fruition when you reach fourth stage Arhat fully. So far, so good. Okay? And that's according to the scriptures. It's only proved to you for third stage Arhat so far. I haven't explained to you yet what happens in fourth stage Arhats. Okay? I'm coming to that. Your teacher didn't teach you? The spy from my master's the temple? You think speaking Dharma is easy? We have a non-believer and you have a spy. Okay. A fourth stage Arhat will be able to put an end to all suffering because anyone knows. If you have no self, who suffers? Who suffers when you have no self? No one. See that? That's why the Buddha says, if you reach fourth stage Arhat, which means you have no self, how can there be suffering? It's no more, no one who's suffering. Is that clear? Until then, you suffer, nothing you can do. Is that clear? That's why life is suffering as long as you have a self. You want to stop suffering? Okay? Shave your head. No. If you want to stop suffering, become a fourth stage Arhat, and all sufferings disappear. No more. Absolutely no more suffering. This is from the Buddha's teaching, not from me. Is that clear? I'm only interpreting it for you, his teachings for you. In summary, you are suffering because it's an ego. So my fourth stage disciple who says, I'm suffering more than before, now I have become fourth stage Arhat, is suffering than before. What happened? What happened? Now they pretend they're not fourth stage Arhats, these ingrates. Because? Yes, purple.
Master, is it because of karmic obstructions or retribution?
Okay, what else? Spy.
Mô Phật bạch Thầy, ngày xưa Đức Phật đang muốn nói Pháp cho 500 vị A-la-hán để nghe, rồi 500 vị A-la-hán nó bỏ nó đi. Là cái người A-la-hán nó còn... cái chuyện đó là... cái khúc chuyện đó tới giờ mình cũng học tới giờ mấy chục năm mà không hiểu. Sau 500 vị A-la-hán nó bỏ đi, thì Đức Phật nó thôi kệ nó đi, nó ngạo mạn quá.
So when the Buddha spoke the Lotus Sutra, 5,000 bhikshus stood up and left. What did Buddha say? Buddha said that, I've taught you to end suffering. Now I'm going to teach you the real deal. You ain't got nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. There's something much bigger than what you have. The 5,000 bhikshus heard that. They said, I don't believe you. There's nothing bigger than this. They walked out. They said, I'm going to hang on to what I have. That's what happened. Okay? So, these 5,000 bhikshus left because they suffered too much. They couldn't bear to stand there, to sit there, continue to sit there, and suffer through the lectures. The lecturer says, I'm going to give you something bigger. And he says, no, it cannot be anything bigger. So they're suffering because of their ignorance. They believe it's nothing bigger than what they had. That's why. Okay? It'll be clearer in a few moments. So what happened is that the reason that you reach fourth stage Arhat and you still suffer, very often more than before, actually a lot more than before, is because just like 5,000 bhikshus, what happened? Joomi.
Joomi says it was because they think.
Because I just told you, because it's a self. I don't believe you. I don't believe you, Buddha. I don't believe you, Bodhisattva. I don't believe you, Master. What else? It's the same kind of thing, same mechanism. It says, I don't believe you. You hear the problem, see the problem? I don't believe you. There's an I. That's why they're suffering. That's why if you are suffering In other words, if you're suffering and you're fourth stage Arhat or higher, all you have to do is say, who's suffering? Boom, suffering stops. The Buddha taught you, but you say, no, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I'm still suffering. I am still suffering. I don't believe you. I don't believe you, Master. I don't believe you, Buddha. I don't believe you. And that's what we call in Buddhism continuing education. I don't know how to translate that in Korean. At universities, you have a degree, and you continue to get more classes, okay, to broaden your understanding, that's what we call continuing education. Okay, we don't stop learning. Okay, so you may reach fourth stage Arhat, and you may find a way to empty yourself. If you can do that, you say, I say, you're so short! And you smile, but inside say, I hate you. Okay? That you have to recognize, yes, purple, black.
Master, do you fourth stage Arhats, they never talk in the third person?
Third person?
They never talk in the third person, or there would be no, they would never say I, or I think this, or whatever.
There's nothing there, okay? So this person here, when he's insulted, I give an example. When he's insulted, okay, and he says, "You talking to me?" Okay, that's suffering, isn't it? You can be a fourth stage Arhat. You could be an enlightened person. We say, "Are you talking to me?" Right? At that moment, are you fourth stage Arhat? At that moment, are you enlightened being? No, you're not. You. You loser. You losers. You get my point? Yes, San Diego.
So this selfless state at fourth stage Arhat is not necessarily permanent then?
QED. You know what QED means? Hey, mathematician, what does it mean? What? Look it up. The rest of you, Google it. Q.E.D. Okay? Q is quantum, E is for easy, D for Donald Trump. Just kidding. You're suffering, aren't you? You get excited again when I call your favorite person. What's QED? Hey, mathematician, if you can't answer this, I will withdraw the recommendation letter. Not a true mathematician. You don't know what it means. What is QED?
I just know that usually when you complete the proof, that's QED.
In mathematics, you are asked to prove a theory, okay? And you done your work, so I prove it, you that. Q, you say, instead of signing your name, mathematicians are very wise. Okay? Instead of signing your name like over here, you guys sign your name like Catholics and so forth. You say, brother so-and-so, father so-and-so. Mathematician, we say Q-E-D. Okay? Translate into law, I rest my case. What does QED mean? It's Latin. Yes, engineer.
It is quod erat demonstradum.
There you go. I just demonstrated it. Something like that, right? That's it. QED. It's Latin. Okay? Meaning, I finished my proof. All right? So, precisely, it's because what happened is that at that very moment when you hate people so much because you said, because you still see a self that's hating. So at that moment, instead of saying, I hate you, what do? Excuse me, it's my repo car man from New York. Oh, God. Okay? At that moment, all they have to do, all these 4 stage arhats and bodhisattvas, all they have to do is say, so what? So I'm short, I'm fat, I'm ugly, so what? So I'm stupid, so what? You wasted your breath on me. Who's suffering now? Okay, don't worry, disciples. I come up with something else to hurt you. You see that? I've been doing it for 15 years. I remember that loser who left for, did I tell you about that guy who left because I'm too inferior, went over to my master's temples? You're suffering because you choose to suffer. Okay, yes, Q&A.
So, Master, you said your disciples, those of your disciples suffer more. Why is that? Like, they even suffer more after they become first stage.
Well, I don't know them. I'm not them, so I don't know. Their facial expression tell me they suffer a lot more than before for some reason. So let me interpret that for you, elaborate for you. Okay? You may be whoever you are. Okay? Whether you are enlightened or non-enlightened, you still have weaknesses. Yes? Right? Before you enlighten, you greedy for fame and profit. Yes or no? We like that, aren't we? Huh? Okay. After you become enlightened, you say, oh wow, this is so cool. But that sometimes you forget. You forget how cool you are. That's why you suffer. If you always remember you're special, and you're very special, and we love you. Okay? Now you will never suffer. In other words, you will suffer when you are not in your samadhi. When you're not in your samadhi, you actually suffer more because it's more intense for you. Okay? Does it help? You see that? So I'm going to tell all of you this, so I'm not afraid. You can say, oh, he can't hurt me anymore. Tough, fat chance. Okay? I'm telling you because there are more tricks. I've been holding it off until someone asks the right question, and I'll tell you the truth. So that I prove to you, QED, that you 4th stage Arhat, you will not suffer anymore because all you have to do is say, so what? You don't like me, so what? You hate me, so what? Huh? If you empty yourself, who's suffering? And they have the ability to stop the suffering themselves. Okay? It's just they forgot to stop the suffering, those idiots, those losers. Yes. Why?
Thầy nói con nhớ là quý vị hỏi tại sao mà đắc cái pháp đó, cái tầng lớp đó mà còn suffering. Tại vì lúc đầu thì như thầy giảng, lục tổ giảng đó là đốn ngộ. Mình nhận ra cái đó mà phải tiệm tu, phải từ nó mới hết cái thói quen của mình nhiều đời nhiều kiếp rồi. Cho nên lúc thầy mới nói là quên rồi, chứ mà lúc đầu mình biết cái đó rồi cái thời gian không có theo cái đó quên, cái thì cái gì xảy ra cái suffering, giận hoặc là thương hay là ghét, thói quen nó còn chưa có dứt. Cái người đó phải tu dữ lắm mới hoàn toàn mới dứt nổi.
Master, earlier people was asking that some people already attain it, but they still suffering. I remember 6th Patriarch teach that even though you attain a sudden enlightenment, but then after that you still have to cultivate, going through gradual cultivation, meaning that you know, but then sometimes you forgot. So that's why you are suffering. And then it's also because of the habit energy from so long. So you haven't really cut off the habit energy yet.
Very good. Orange.
Mô Phật bạch thầy, tại vì tu còn A La Hán còn khổ thì cái người A La Hán thì nó muốn tu tới lên Bồ Tát thì rất là khó, thì nó nghĩ là khổ. Tại vì Bồ Tát đó, Đức Phật mới giao một cái gia tài cho những người Bồ Tát, chứ đâu có giao những cái gia tài cho những người A La Hán đâu. Bởi vì nó còn khổ chỗ đó thầy. Mô Phật.
Master, the Arhat are still suffering because they thought that becoming a bodhisattva is even harder, and then the Buddha only gives the access, the property to the bodhisattva, not to the Arhat.
So it's funny because I have so many disciples who are pretty good, and the truth is that they admit they cry themselves to sleep at night. Quite often. I have absolutely no compassion for them. These idiots. They say, I'm suffering so much. Why Master is so mean? So precisely, that's what happened, is that if you practice Hinayana and you reach 4th stage Arhat and you have, there's no more suffering whatsoever, and say, oh, this is so cool. I'm so special. This is so wonderful. And so they stay in the mountain, they hide in the valley until they die. Okay? Whereas us in Mahayana, or they hide behind the four walls of the temples. For us, we certify the fourth stage Arhat, and what do? We go out and let people insult us, abuse us, and give us money, and cars, and boats, and houses, and more money, and more cars, and more boats, and more houses. You still don't get it. And more and more and more money. Okay, I give up. It's too much suffering. So what happens if you go out? And when you go out like that, you suffer because you are discovering through you mean people. And there's no other words to describe you. You are so mean. Okay? Because that's your nature. When you are confused, you mean. Okay? You hurt people, hurt others. Maybe you don't mean it. Maybe you're not intentional, but that's what you do. Confuse people, hurt others. Okay? That's why we still have a job at the temples. And the hurt people come to our temple and ask for help. Okay? Never mind. Not funny. So what happened is what is said, what the patriarchs say, that's not in the sutras. They said, after you become enlightened, what do? Now the real work begins. All the patriarchs tell you that. All of them. What do they mean? They mean that now that you can put an end to suffering, okay? That's when you have to work harder than before to identify your habit energies, your attachments that make you suffer lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. Now you can identify them and you can cut them off. You can handle it. Whereas before that, so what happened is that these enlightened people, okay, they suffer, I insult them, I do things to make them suffer, which is not intentional. This is my confused nature. I make people suffer. Okay? Now, and they complain, oh my God, I'm suffering so much. I miss home. I miss my family, my friends. I never realized that Wei Mountain Temple can be so mean and there's so much more suffering. Okay? And they, if they don't quit, they will finally realize that eventually I teach them, like today I'm forced to teach them, that the suffering is due to the habit energy, your attachment that makes you suffer. When you have a deep attachment, okay, that's why you suffer. So if you sit in a mountain and you hide in a valley, you don't have anyone to afflict you. You don't have anyone to make you suffer. So those attachments are still there, are still dormant. So that's why in Mahayana, after we become enlightened, we go down to the mountain, to let others hurt us so that we can suffer, so that we can identify our attachments. Is it clear? So the Korean lady who hates people so much, okay, eventually when she has wisdom, will love people because they do you a favor when they make you suffer. Before you become enlightened, those people make you suffer, therefore they are pressuring you to do something to end your suffering, to rise above it. After you become enlightened, you still let others pressure you, make you suffer, so that you can eradicate those seeds in your eighth consciousness that cause you to suffer. Habit energies are seeds in the consciousness. Your habits. Okay? So that's why. That's why Mahayana is totally different from Hinayana. In Hinayana, once you end your suffering, you hide. And you let those seeds, suffering seeds, stay dormant. In Mahayana, we go out so that we can spot those attachments, so that we can kill them, cut them off. In other words, in Hinayana, it's like a young flame. When exposed to the wind, it goes out. It's useless. In Mahayana, you are a flame, but when the wind blows at you, and you recover. That's the difference. That's why in Mahayana, we choose to suffer, because it's part of our work. Now you understand why I called Hinayana Mahayana. Got it? They reach a level of understanding Mahayana, and yet their practice is still Hinayana. They hide. They don't go out. They don't have the mechanism. They don't have the teachers to teach them how to do Mahayana. Because it's not easy, folks. You go out there, it's a lot of suffering. And you may not be able to recover. So the question earlier I asked about fourth stage Arhat, can you fall? Absolutely. You can still fall. But guess what? You fall to the hells. And guess what? You fall to the hells, and you suffer. And then there's someone called Earthstor Bodhisattva, who comes over to you, among others, who come over to you and said, you forgot who you are, haven't you? I tell you what, I teach you something that bring you back to fourth stage Arhat, so now you may be in the hells, but you're not going to suffer. See that? That's what's special about these people. They may suffer, but it's only temporary. They can recover. Whereas us confused people, we fall to the hell to suffer, and we have no choice. We can't help it. You see the difference? Okay, I told you all the secrets. Now you don't need to come to the temple anymore. And you who are saying, now Master can't hurt me anymore, just wait and see. If I tell you, that's old news. Questions or comments? Yes. Dark green. Black.
Master, what about the person in Korea? Didn't Chan meditation help them be more compassionate, but they still have hatred? So I'm confused about their hatred.
We're using a lot of words. Don't worry about it. It's just these are concepts, seeds you have, when you're hearing, and that eventually someday will make sense to you. Because what happened is in an assembly like this, there are varying levels from low to high, so it doesn't matter, okay? You cannot understand everything. It's okay, okay? We're telling you about these things in order to challenge you, okay? Concept is, if you're suffering, yes, there's a way for you to end suffering instantaneously. And because you have wisdom, you have samadhi power, you can end it instantaneously. Okay, that's a very important concept, that only in Buddhism that you can acquire the skill through training. Anyone can do it. Okay? And that's why if you only read the scriptures and listen to Hinayana things, you will not be able to get the full picture. And this is why you need to have someone explain it to you. If you read the scriptures alone, you will not be able to understand. That's impossible. This is why the scholars, they cannot possibly understand what we just talked about the last hour or so. It's not in the scriptures. This is from empirical evidence. It's from the people who actually are there, and then they come ask and say, how come I'm still suffering? What's going on? Okay? Q&A.
Master, you said before that enlightened beings are always in samadhi. If that's so, then how come they still suffer? If they're in samadhi, they will not suffer.
So all you have to do is, when you're suffering, enter samadhi, and the suffering stops immediately. It's that simple.
Enlightened beings are always in samadhi. So why do they still have to enter samadhi and stop the suffering?
Are you always in samadhi?
I'm not. Well,
You just answer yourself.
I'm not enlightened. So
Yeah.
Con có cái chuyện này thật ngày hôm qua, nhưng mà không biết phải như thế nào. Không biết nhập định hay con không biết. Nhưng mà hôm qua con với thầy Hiền Giới với ông Hùng đi qua đốn mấy cái cây bên Lư Sơn Tự đó. Thì có những lúc thầy Khả làm không có được, con leo lên. Thì về khoảng tới đây là 3 giờ thì nó đau trái tim, đau kinh khủng luôn. Con không dám kêu nào nên qua anh, mà để coi anh từ từ coi sao, thì cũng không hết. Thì chiều nghe mấy cô trên này quánh chuông để công phu chiều, con nghĩ con ngồi dưới phòng để cho kiết già cho nó bớt thôi, để coi xảy ra cái gì nữa. Xong cuối cùng con đứng dậy, con nói đi lên trên chánh điện tụng kinh. Có chết đang niệm Phật chết còn hay hơn ngồi dưới phòng chết. Đang niệm Phật thì chú, mà chết trên chánh điện còn hơn. Thì con quyết định con lên đây thì hết cái thời kinh 38 mấy chục vị Phật, mấy 83 vị Phật đó. Rồi thì chú xong thì biến luôn. Hoàn toàn bây giờ mạnh luôn, không có gì hết. Thì tại vì con quyết định là chẳng thà con chết trong cái lúc đang niệm Phật thì chú trên chánh điện này, không muốn chết ở dưới phòng.
Master, there were something happened yesterday. I'm not really sure if I entered samadhi or not, but we went to LMT to cut down the tree. And then around 3 p.m. when I went back, my heart hurt a lot. I didn't dare to call 911. And then when it come to evening ceremony, I heard the bell, but then I was crossing leg in my room and tried to see what's going on. But after that, I decided that I will go to the Buddha hall. If I die, I would like to die while I was reciting. I don't want to die in my room. And after we do 88 Buddha repentance and recite mantra, then I became normal, no longer pain. So I think it's because I decide I rather die in the Buddha hall rather than in my room. That's why it's happened.
Okay, we lucked out, I guess. So, going back to does it help? Does it answer all the questions today? Okay. So, in summary, it's a lot more behind the sutras meanings than you think, and that's why unless you are taught properly by a good no advisor, we will not be able to interpret the sutra's teachings properly. Okay? Is it clear? If you look at the sutra's teachings, in the sutra scrolls, okay, they only describe the state where you are when you get there. But they left out a lot of details. Okay? They only describe the fruit, like on slide 162. When you get there, this fruition here is so and so. The Buddha is very, very precise. Okay? So when you get there, you see, it's true. When I get the fourth stage Arhat, there's no more suffering, it's true. Okay? And then so forth. And then when you're in time of suffering, you say, and then you understand why. So that's why it's a lot more than behind the Buddhist teaching than just the sutras and just the words. Okay, and this is why the great advantages of the people who have a good no advisor is that the good no advisor can interpret and correct your misunderstandings in the sutra, because you yourself cannot understand it yourself. All right? So that's why in Mahayana, the good no advisor is critical. Okay? There are a lot of areas where you cannot understand, no matter how smart you are, no matter how successful you are, no matter how wise you are even. After you become enlightened, actually, enlightened people, as evidenced by Sudana, good wealth bodhisattva, good wealth youth, even after he became enlightened, he still sought a good no advisor until he became a Buddha. That's a very powerful statement. It's a prime example of how to cultivate in Mahayana. Okay? And this is a sickness in today's world, where you think you can figure things out because the universities give you a degree, okay, and say, now I certify that you can think. Now I certify that you know. But no degree that certifies that you have wisdom. You may be able to figure out worldly things yourself, but for transcendental wisdom, you can't. And if you can figure it out, okay, it's not as easy as you think. It probably takes longer in one lifetime. That's evidenced again by good wealth youth. He stayed with each single no advisor for a long time before he can master that level. It takes time. And if you think you can, like we do here in worldly things, we go to university and go take a course, and you figure out how to do financing in your houses and do your flipping, whatever. Okay, and you can be successful at that. But that's not wisdom. That's worldly knowledge. Okay, wisdom takes a lot longer to figure out on your own, even with a good new advisor by your side, like in the case of good wealth. It took him a long, long time for each single position with a teacher by his side. I point to you in a famous example of Bodhidharma and the first and the second Chinese patriarch, Huike. Okay? He was with Bodhidharma for 9 years. And you guys are so soft. He asks you to cross your legs, and you say, oh, no, it's too much. I can't take this. The guy knelt behind Bodhidharma for 9 years. Can you imagine 9 years of tests that he had to endure? And the Chinese don't have that anymore. Nowadays, I'm sorry, young Chinese are so weak, just like you, Caucasian people, and Vietnamese. Okay? I don't know what happened to you. My generation, we are a lot tougher. Right, huh, old man? We're so tough. Now look at young people and say, ooh, you're so icky. You want instant gratification. Otherwise, you run away. And then you go and you do things and you're successful. And you say, oh, God, I'm good at this. It's all the worldly things. And you become more confused. Okay? Any other questions? Okay. Dust motes. Next time, we continue with this concept of dust motes. Okay? In 163. Final questions. Oh no, yeah.
I have a question. So if being a second stage asha is not permanent, let's say that they stop believing in Buddhism or whatever, could they fall back all the way to just being a person, or can they go from second stage asha all the way down?
Translation.
I
refuse to talk to him directly.
If somebody reaches second stage Arhat, can they regress all the way back to being a normal person?
Why not? How do you regress? Why do you regress? I'm sorry, I shouldn't ask how. Why do you regress? Why do you progress? It's all the same questions. How do you progress? Why do you regress? Yeah, Pink.
You progress by cultivating blessings, and you regress by doing bad things.
Let me give you a rough example, a general things that we don't want to teach the Catholics everything. Okay? Let me give you a very generic answer. This is what's going to happen when you see King Yama. King Yama says, you create these bad things, these boo-boos, then you did these goodies, okay? And you balance them out, and after you say, okay, you did more good than bad in this lifetime. So next lifetime, you ascend. If in this lifetime you create more karmas, bad karmas, than good karmas, you've been a bad boy. Okay? Then King Yama says, because of that, this lifetime, you fall. So far, so good. That's it. You progress because you're doing more right things than wrong things. You create more blessings than using up blessings. You're creating blessings for you to increase, to improve. Okay, one end. On the other hand, you create karmas that creates negative blessings, okay, to make you regress. Good blessings make you progress. Bad blessing makes you regress. Regress. That's all. So that's why you progress, because in balance, overall, your positive blessings outweigh the negative blessings. Yes?
So I was wondering if that's true for bodhisattvas and for the goddess or the goddess, or like, it's like, is it true for every stage or only for people in this human world?
To hamper him. So all of a sudden I can understand him. What happened? My suffering have ended. Yes, Black.
Let me correct what he was trying to say. So that was the case for second stage Arhat. So he was trying to say, so would the fourth stage Arhat go to zero, like go to hell, or at first stage, second stage, third stage, Bodhisattva go to zero? For example, let's say your disciples who have reached fourth stage Arhat, or who are maybe a third stage Bodhisattva, can they do anything to screw it up and go to zero like the nun that did?
Oh no. Translation. I'm still suffering. If it's not him, it's her. Either the girlfriend or the boyfriend. They take turn in harassing me. Yes, Green.
I think, maybe I'm going to try to simplify this. If you're a four-stage Arhat, can you regress in level? And if you're a Bodhisattva, first ground or above, can you regress?
Bodhisattvas regress too. They regress. Big time. The same thing. We all are not beyond that law of cause and effect. We create positive karmas, and we create negative karmas. If we do the overbalance, do better, then we ascend. We do worse, we regress. Best that if you're worried about that, go to the Pure Land. This is not for the faint of heart. This is the Saha world, okay? Where we have equal opportunities to be evil. Yes, he's not giving up.
If you're in the Pure Land, can someone regress from the Pure Land?
No, it's impossible. You can never regress in the Pure Land. Here, you can. Remember? You regress because you have more negative karmas, blessings, than positive blessings. Right? Therefore, you regress. Just life. In a Pure Land, you cannot create negative karmas. It's impossible. It's only positive karmas. That's it. I highly recommend it for you. Especially Koreans who hate people. Because hating is negative karmas. Be careful. Okay? Yes, good friend. I'm having a
It's
headache.
gonna be quick and short. So for fourth
thank you, Lord.
For fourth stage Arhats and just first ground Bodhisattva, talking about now Earth still alive, if they want to go to a Pure Land right now, so when they die, they would automatically go to Pure Land without any help, or they still need help? Like they already say, I'm gonna go to Pure Land, or they want to go to Pure Land.
I don't know. We have to guess. The fourth stage Arhat have no choices. They can't simply go to Pure Land. It's not possible. But the ground bodhisattvas probably can. I haven't seen one dead yet, so I don't know. That's why I'm hesitant. Yes.
Venerable Heng Chu wants to go to Pure Land. She still needs help.
Let me put it this way. You, spy number 2.
Translation.
There's so many spies from there. You guys have nothing to do, or what? Go back to where you're from. I really don't know because there's another aspect that you guys don't know is that not simply going to the Pure Land. It's also about the grade. You paupers only worried about going to the Pure Land. Okay? It's because the Pure Land people haven't taught you yet. It's because the Chinese people haven't taught you that yet. I'm not teaching you. It's more. It's like, well, what the heck, I'll teach you today. If you want to move to Texas, would you just move to Texas? No. If I want to move to Texas, I would do it on the condition. What conditions? Can you think of some conditions for me? At least one. A red car. Very good. What else? Come on, I'm not that cheap. I'm very expensive. I have very expensive tastes, by the way. Yes, what else? Bigger temple, not nice temple, bigger temple. What else? More money. You got the point? You don't simply go to Texas. It got to be better deal than today. Yes? Get the point? Why would you want to go from here to the Pure Land? It has to be a better deal. Meaning what? I don't just go to Texas. I don't just go to the Pure Land. Are you kidding me? I'm from the Saha world. We're special. We don't just go to the Pure Land. Come on, folks. I only go because it's better over there. You understand? You understand. You only want to go. You losers. I want to go because when I get there, I'm going to be better than now. Meaning what? Got it? Don't follow the Chinese, Pure Land. Losers. God, why would you just go to the Pure Land? Are you kidding me? Huh? That's it? You losers? You want to go to the Pure Land, that's it? So, in summary, if you want me to go to Texas, I want the governor mansion, you hear? Okay, YouTube has a question. I'm calm.
When people who are from the Pure Land go to impure lands to vacation, can they regress when they vacation?
I refuse to answer that. Oh, you guys are really abusing me. I'm having this huge headache. Okay, we stop here today. I'm going to ignore the question. This is enough. And you people, I told you my rule of thumb, 1 hard question per session. And then you remember those people and blacklist them. So meaning 1 hard question forever. Okay, people, thank you. Let's do the reverse transference. I can't do that.